Culturally Clueless.
Salam guys and welcome to Culturally Clueless. Today we're going to talk about Trump. We're going to talk about Oneida in Pakistan. We're going to talk about Morgan Ortega's, Lebanon, Gaza, and much more. So stay tuned.
All right, y'all, we back with Culturally Clueless, and I am here with Maria. Today was supposed to be a solo episode, but things don't always work out the way that they are supposed to. So Maria is here, of course. Maria, what's up? Hello, and I dare you say thank you for having me because you really became part of this whole thing now.
No, you need to be honest with our viewers.
Okay.
You need to tell them that we are here because you miss me too much, so you didn't want to do it solo.
You know that on the solo episode, we were going to have a segment, right? So you would have been here regardless, not for the whole episode, but for some of it. But yeah, I miss you too much. And you told me I need to be wherever you are, right?
Yes. Wherever she is, I had to be there. That is in the contract. And
okay.
And the little lines that you didn't read when you signed
it. Oh, the fine lines. Okay, I see. You said you had a question for me before the podcast, and we said we're going to talk about it on the podcast. What is your question? Do I have to be scared of the question? Before we start, we're going to start with your question because I'm really, what is it? Is it something weird?
No, it's not something weird. I was I was doing chores around the house, and I say, "Oh my God, if God give me money, the first thing I'm gonna hire is someone to help me with this because this is not for me." And then I was thinking of you and said, I wonder, is Ness, is Mary, was she able to follow the custom, for a woman and their culture?
What are the customs?
Tell
me. No, you tell me because I don't know.
Don't you guys say a woman has some roles in the house to keep her out of the house and stuff like that? Explain to me. Teach me.
No, so I just want to say, right, there is a whole notion of this when this was actually a thing in the West as well. It's just that people have forgotten about it. Women in the 50s and stuff, they didn't always used to work. Women who used to work were more the independent women, the hustlers, the grinders, people who had to do stuff to survive, So it's this a whole Islamic or Arab culture thing, not necessarily exclusively. You see that all the time. Women still in the West have, even when they go work, they still have to come home and maybe make dinner or whatever it is. I mean, you are doing it. You're saying the same thing, and you're from the West. But when it comes to me, so one thing that we're not going to discuss is why I'm not married. You know the reason.
I know the reason.
You know the reason exactly why I'm not married yet. And I just want to say, I think it is very important that the woman knows her place in the sense of what you have to do, because we have expectations from men and men have expectations from women. And I feel like, why shouldn't we be able to fulfill them? Does this answer your question?
Fair enough. Yes, it does.
Wait. But why did you think that I would struggle with it?
Because you're so independent, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's the vision that I have. Yeah, you're so independent, so focused and so many projects and work related that, I don't know.
That's
maybe
actually
think about what would Ness would do in this situation.
I think that when people, I think it depends on who you marry. I really think it depends on who you marry.
That's also true.
Exactly. And I think whatever the concept of marriage that you're choosing is, that's what you follow. I would say for myself, I definitely would follow, how you call it, customs. But it wouldn't take away from my projects or the things that I do. You just have to have, how do you say, create a schedule?
Oh, yes. I love a schedule. We
Well,
have to
there
have
you
a
go.
list.
Exactly.
You have to have a list.
You have to have a list and you have to stick to it. And this is the thing, like, this is for me how I feel I am in these kind of situations. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is true. Like a professional life and in-house life can be harmoniously organized if you
Yeah,
want, right?
it can be challenging, but I feel,
Mhm.
again, it really depends on who you marry and what the concept is, what you guys agree on, and what you do. But I feel like, again, I just have this whole, I don't know if it's old school or traditional or whatever. I feel like women should be submissive to a certain degree. I know that they have a new word for this these days. They call it cooperative. To make it sound better, or whatever suits anyone well. I just, that's fine. But I feel like still I just have this thing where I think, like, there's time and place for everything.
Yeah. I guess what you said is very true. Depends on who you marry. So for our younger viewers, please be wise who you choose, because that can determine a lot.
Well, according to you, you keep telling people not to get married. You keep telling me, no, you actually never told me.
That's my best behavior. My best advice: be free, people. Freedom. But that we're gonna touch that in a different episode.
Oh yes, because yes, we're gonna have to. But there is nothing wrong with marriage. And now, because I said, the reason, I know there's gonna be questions. I will not share this, so please don't bother asking. And this is like a very personal reason, but it doesn't mean that I am opposed to it. I'm like Maria, she's opposed to it. I'm not, but yeah. Anyways, this is too much talk now.
It's amazing how different we are, but I cannot live without you anymore.
Aww, that is so sweet. And I have to say, it's so crazy. Like, okay. No, actually, I will tell you this off camera.
Okay.
Okay, now let's get started. Okay, so what do we have today? We have, of course, a lot to get to and a lot to talk about. One of the things that we have to touch on is definitely Trump. The guy is now in office for how long? When was he? What is it, like 3 weeks or something?
January 6th.
Oh,
no,
1
January
month.
20. Yeah,
No,
yes.
3 weeks.
No, January 20 was the inauguration.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And he done a lot already. He done a lot, a whole lot, like a lot. And one of the things that he did, because Netanyahu visited the White House once again, probably brought a lot of dirty laundry, because he had time from last July to now to collect it, because that's a thing that he loves. And this is no joke. You can look it up, guys. He actually loves to bring his dirty laundry and have the staff from the White House do his washing. It's so gross, actually. Really
It's
gross.
incredible, insulting for the citizens of this country. Have to watch that.
What can I say? They allow him to. I don't know. Maybe the washing machines in Israel don't really work. I don't know what it is with this guy in the White House. Maybe it's like a fetish, probably more so. But anyway, it is a fetish, right? So he visited and they held a press conference, and what's his name? Trump decided to air out the plans they've been having for Gaza. And that is like a Riviera of the Middle East. And I will say this again, they act like the Middle East don't have beaches, don't have Rivieras, don't have real estates, don't have anything going on but destruction and war. Mind you, this destruction and war caused by the exact people that we're talking about. But we still have nice places, and not just in Dubai, y'all. There is so many nice places to go visit. If you look at Oman, for example, Oman is one of the, like, there is no modernization really much. It's still like very old school. If you look at the pictures and you see it, you'll be surprised. But yeah. So back to Trump. So he revealed this great plan, and a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people were pretty much pissed off about it. We don't need to talk about the Palestinians themselves, who said there is no way that they're leaving that piece of land because this is their land. And despite of what they've been through, despite of what they had to endure and still enduring, they ain't leaving. Right? They're not.
Yeah, the criticism was so strong. The White House was forced to backtrack those statements because every single country was outraged by the audacity of this man.
I mean, yeah. And I'm not saying, the funny part is that people say it's Trump's plan. This is not Trump's plan. This plan, he did not wake up one morning and decided this. It doesn't work like that. And then the next thing is that I wanted to point out as well, the reason why they backpedaled a little bit is because of Saudi Arabia. They made a statement. They've been saying that they stand for a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital. And they're doubling down on these statements because what they're saying is if there is no way that this is going to happen and the Palestinians will be removed from their land. Egypt and Jordan also chimed in saying, we're not taking them because the idea initially was to push them into Jordan and into Egypt and also Indonesia. I don't know why they thought of Indonesia, which is absolutely insane. Mind you, they tried to consider the Congo last year, like the Congo don't have enough of their own issues going on. But yeah, this is just one thing. And Egypt and Jordan clearly said, this is waging war. This is a reason to basically get serious. And they are not happy with it. And of course, the US, they have their ways because when you look at Egypt, Egypt is number 3 on the list of the countries who receive the most aid. So they're probably going to cut corners. I mean, they sanctioned South Africa. Did you know that actually that he sanctioned South Africa, and he's basically telling South Africa that they need to stop being racist to the white population there.
No, my God.
Yes, and he also is all for it. Can you believe it or not? To bring South African as immigrants over to the U.S.
He's an ignorant tyrant. That's what he is. Like, how can someone be so out of touch with every single topic?
Crazy,
you see,
right?
that's why this man's or his party are so against diversity. And one of the congresswomen that I admire say that. Thanks to diversity, because of diversity, they are now forced to look at actually candidates that are qualified and without ignoring the unqualified white men sitting in the office. Like, this man doesn't have the qualifications to be a president.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yes, you know what I mean? Like, the color of his skin is the least of our worries. It's the mentality, the lack of preparation, the ignorance of every single geopolitical topic is insane. And now he's sitting in one of the most powerful tables. This is dangerous.
Yes, very much so.
Like, we laugh, but it's dangerous. His decision affects all of us.
Yeah. So there is actually also more that Trump did. But before we get no, I don't know. Before we get to what else Trump did, we should actually talk about Netanyahu being there and his reaction, because his suggestion was to put the Palestinian state in Saudi Arabia. And this is one of the reasons why the US is a little bit like, because Saudi Arabia said there is no way we're doing this. They double down on their comment, as we said earlier, that there needs to be a Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital, and otherwise they're not going to normalize with Israel. And they have this grand deal with the US where they are trading in the it's a very, very, very high number. I think it's like 600 million or 600 billion. I have no idea anymore. I saw that last week. So they need them right now, and they need that relationship to be good right now. So yeah, that's why when they said what they said and Saudi said what they said, it's kind of like, maybe we need to not be so outspoken about it. But it will never happen. They can never take Gaza. It's just not going to happen. It's just not. It's just not.
I just wonder, like, why these people feel entitled or feel the right to decide over other people, land and sovereignty. Like, we say, oh, they're gonna take it. This one's gonna take it. No, you don't know that. Like, who are you? Like, and the Palestinians are saying loud and clear, we're not going anywhere. This is our land.
It's the same thing that they're doing in Lebanon. When you look at Morgan Ortega, she is a special envoy to the US, and she has visited Lebanon, and she said a couple of very also controversial statements. One of them being that she doesn't, or the US is not accepting of Hezbollah being part of the Lebanese government. Who are you to come into this country and say what you're okay with and what not? They're doing the same in Venezuela. They're doing the same everywhere.
Yeah, their decisions are never the wise ones, because they has destabilized so many nations for put the 2 senses. That's always wrong, because they always look for the interest, and they don't even do it that correctly, because our economy is collapsing. So they are not the ones to give advice to any country who you're gonna put in place and who you want. The entitlement needs to stop. These people need a reality check.
Yeah, this is definitely, but their reality check, they don't get, like, their reality is very different from ours. Also, Morgan Ortega said that, so there was a date where the IDF was supposed to withdraw from the borders, and now the date that they have now is February 18, and they were supposed to leave then, and the Lebanese army was supposed to deploy their military personnel to the borders. Now, she did not explicitly say that the IDF has to leave on the 18th, which is also very interesting. But regardless of all of this, again, they're mixing and meddling in somebody else's government and country. But what is there to do? So this woman, she visited, and it was, yeah.
It was nothing. She's saying nothing.
Nothing useful.
I like her. Might as well she wouldn't just cancel the trip. Besides that outrageous statement, what else she said? She didn't ask for unity. She didn't offer cooperation. She didn't invite any of these leaders on the talking table to see who they actually are, because they don't know who they are. They had this preconceptions in their head, and they run by that.
Unfortunately,
I think the world has seen now who are the real terrorists.
Mm-hmm. And we also have Donald Trump placing more sanctions. I think that's the only thing this guy really loves doing, placing sanctions on countries and people, whether it's Colombia, whether it's China. I don't know. Like, this is insane. So now his latest victims are members from the ICC, because obviously he doesn't agree, or America doesn't agree with the arrest warrants, for Netanyahu. Mind you, Yoav Gallant is not even mentioned anymore because he was fired. We're going to talk about Yoav Gallant in a second as well, because he said actually something very, very interesting. But before we get to that, so the sanctions have been placed on this member, like economic sanctions, travel sanctions, and they're kind of like cutting the aid to the ICC because they are like really petty. It's just really interesting how and where he is taking all of this sanctions game. But I actually saw, that he wants to have a negotiation with Iran. He prefers to negotiate something rather than have a nuclear war.
Oh, wow. I guess that makes sense finally.
Well, that's what he says today. Let's see what he does tomorrow.
Let's see. But because he's afraid of the war, nuclear.
Oh, well, I mean, I would too, so I'm not gonna lie.
And I would say like, guess who else has nuclear weapons? Why you are lying, right?
Absolutely.
So, and they have shown that they're not think twice before press the trigger. But it's funny they are scared of Iran.
Yeah, very, very, very funny. Okay, so he sanctioned that. And then we have Julia Sibotinde, right? She is the active president of the ICJ. And she is the Ugandan, was she like the Ugandan judge that was that voted against the plausible reason of genocide when South Africa took the case to the ICJ? I think it was absolutely insane. She is accused of plagiarism, right? And you guys remember when we had Claudine Gay, that was the former president of Colombia. She was accused with plagiarism. She was accused of anti-Semitism. What they did to this woman is absolutely insane. The way that they treated her, the way that they made her resign from her job. And this woman here, clearly there is actual proof. There is like this guy from Doha. Oh my gosh, I don't even remember his name. Let me just see where I have his name. I have it written somewhere. Yeah, I have it written somewhere. So he is, anyway, his name is, where is it? Oh my gosh.
It is a hard one.
Her name is Majd Abu Amr. That's it. Majd Abu Amr. That's his name. He done a study. He's from the Doha Institute in Qatar, and he done the study, and he found that 30% of her opinion was plagiarized from a 2021 article wrote by oh my gosh, what's his name? Douglas Fate. Okay, this is somebody who wrote an article, so she plagiarized from this article. She also took and copied everything from a video from a guy called David Brogg, and this is all to be found in the upcoming book of Norman Finkelstein. We all know who he is. He's been a great supporter of the Palestinians, of the he stands on the right side of history for a very, very long time. And he actually said that at some point he had kind of like not resigned, not given up, but kind of like succumbed to the fact that it's not going to change. And he wanted to live and this is what he said, it's not what I say, his last years in peace. But since October 7, everything has just gone wild. And of course, he is going to be part of the conversation. People wanted to hear from him and still want to hear from him. And that's why he is kind of like active again, which we do appreciate a lot, by the way.
I discovered him after October 7, 2023. And he opened my eyes, educated me so much with all his books. Even if he's taking a break right now, all the work that he has done through the years is changing people's life and visions. Every single book of his is a masterpiece, full of knowledge, more than opinion, facts. I think thanks to him, a lot of us, a lot of younger generations even, and waking up and educating themselves. So even if he takes a little break that he's well deserved, he's changing people's mentalities. He still fight them.
I mean, he wanted to take a break, but he didn't because it was too serious. I feel like if you're passionate about something, you cannot take a break. I mean, like this guy, George Galloway, he had enough and he said, this is a lost cause and he's not gonna fight for it with the Arabs anymore. I mean, it's up to you, bro. But I can understand if people had enough. That's, up to them.
I think I disagree with you. I think people, if you are tired, please take a break. Don't quit. Take a break. Re-energize and come back to the fight. Don't quit. Slow down and come back, because we don't, people, when they are born down, the minds is not clear, and mistakes happens and the statements are made that you need to retract. So my personal advice to all of us in any cause, if you feel like you are tired, it's fine, it's normal. Stop, pause, recharge, and come back. We're gonna still here. I do think the breaks are healthy. Recognizing that you need a break is so wise.
Well, the thing is, the reason why I said what I said is because I feel like there is different reasons why people are advocating. There are some people who are advocating because they are impatient, they want to see immediate results. There is some people who do not have the patience to wait or do not like defeat. There is a lot of ego in this. I mean, we see this even on a smaller scale in different communities, that ego plays a huge role. And sometimes it's not even deliberate. Sometimes people don't even realize that they allowed their ego to take over. So whatever the reason is that you are advocating or that you are fighting for a cause and standing for a cause, that is why I say, then if you feel like leaving, then you was never really there, you know?
Exactly. Yes, you feel like leaving to quitting, your heart was never there.
Yeah.
But it's different for feel tired. Feel tired is normal.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, we need to understand that no change is immediate. Like the Palestinians, for example, just focus on the Palestinian for now, but all the other causes like Black Lives Matter, human rights.
Yeah.
But to the Palestinians specific, this was going on for 76 years and counting. I think it's a realistic expect the changes are going to happen in 6-12 months. It's going to take time. And even more with all the destruction that we have seen. It. So if you are signing up for this, take a consideration that it's a lifetime commitment.
Yeah. I do agree. I do agree. This is a lifetime commitment. And that's why I say, if you feel to fall off, then fall off. Like, you know, it's fine. It's whatever. So with that said, this judge, going back to her, I mean, or active president, how I would say, I mean, we do know that members of the ICC and ICJ have been bribed, have been blackmailed. You know, like we have the prosecutor Karim Khan, who talked about it. The former prosecutor from before, she was offered so much money. So this is a common thing. This is nothing new. It's just shocking that we have these institutions and yet they are not strong enough to uphold international law and to uphold even human rights laws. And this is absolutely something that I will never understand. So yeah, she's accused of 32% of plagiarism, stealing from her initial statements on Israel's occupation on Palestine. And Maria, what else did Trump do? Oh, he received a gift, right?
Then I was about to say, you read my mind. We need to talk about that pager.
Yes.
The level of audacity.
Talk about it.
Outstanding. Like, so Netanyahu brought a gift for our president, and it was a golden pager. Mm-hmm. This golden pager is embedded in a wood shape looking like something exploded. Like, what do you like? People, please go and Google it. You haven't seen it. And
oh no, we will have the picture there. I hope we will have the picture there. The editor will put the picture there. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go anywhere.
Put in the comments if you don't think that these people had no shame. Those pagers, that page, golden pager represent the attack that happened last year in Lebanon. Please correct me, it's around 37 pagers explode on civilian population.
And walkie-talkies and mobile phones and other devices. Yes, they did. This was something in the making for over 15 years. This was going through all different channels. And I want to class this, and this is not just me classing it. This is like literally most people are classing this as the biggest terror attack of the past decade.
And they say there was Target Hezbollah's member. Now, I'm gonna ask you, guess how many Hezbollah's members were harmed? 0. Were civilians that were harmed. And amount of civilians, children. So that was attack to the population.
I mean, it was also very clear that even if the pagers are going to explode, these people won't be most likely alone. They will be with their family members. They will be somewhere outside. They will be in a shop. They will be, I don't know, wherever they may be, like with friends, with anyone. So this was definitely a bigger attack than just on Hezbollah members. So this pager just is supposed to stand for that's why I say this is to them it's a game. All of this is just a game. This is just insane to even be so insensitive and do this. When you think of all the terror, not all the school shootings, for example, right?
Yeah, like a Squid Game is nothing compared to what these people are playing.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why, yeah, Squid Game took a page out of their book. So, absolutely, no, absolutely. So yeah, this pager gift was absolutely insane. I wonder what Trump is going to do with it.
Like, put it in the toilet.
I don't know. My advice. He likes money. Maybe he's just gonna keep it and look at it and be like, "Yeah, we did this. So
and
I don't know.
It's ugly too. It's not even. It's awful.
It is. What else do we have? Yoav Gallant. We need to talk about Yoav Gallant. So he's the former defense minister of Israel, of the occupation. He was fired by Netanyahu not too long ago. And I think this is the first time on record that they admitted to have ordered the Hannibal Directive on October 7th. So for those who don't know, the Hannibal Directive is something that was created in the 80s, and that allows basically the, how do I say this? This allows basically to kill the enemy and the hostages. So if somebody was to come and take a soldier hostage or anyone hostage, they would rather kill their own people and the enemy than allowing the enemy to get away with a hostage. So at the end of the day, whatever happened on October 7th, we don't really have no real numbers of who is responsible for what. Yes, the Hamas fighters came. They did what they did, but so we have admission of the IDF with their tanks coming and also committing certain things, So at this point, because there is no real investigation conducted and they don't allow anyone to investigate, anyone from outside to investigate, it's very hard. Yes, we do have a UN report. We have all of this, but we don't have proper investigation.
I think after all these 16 months that we have seen discriminated bombing all over the Gaza Strip, it's fair to say that they didn't care about these hostages or these people. They didn't care if they were in the hospital, they bombed the hospitals. They didn't care if the hostage was in the buildings, they turned down the buildings. Yep. So, and the intention is clear, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what they did also another thing that Yoav Gallant said, he criticized Ben-Gvir for storming the Al-Aqsa Mosque. That's something that he loves to do. And he criticized him. He said this is igniting the situation more, which is absolutely very true. I'm just very surprised of his statements. I mean, I don't know what it is that made him admit to all of this, but I guess we'll find out.
I think time away from those brainwashing machines is clearing his mind little by little.
I don't know, I don't know. It
you
might
never
be
know.
it might be just like a clapback because he was fired. I don't know. I'm really. It's very hard to say with these people, but it's also very interesting because people in the office of Netanyahu are being investigated because of blackmail, because of spreading false information and blackmailing or doing deals with Western media outlets, because of certain orders that they gave and certain briberies that have been going on. So there are people accused and there is investigations happening. Netanyahu is obviously facing trial for his own fraud and other, what do you call it?
Crimes.
Allegation. Yes, crimes. Exactly. It's not even allegations at this time.
Crime, yeah.
So yes, that's what's going on.
They have been proven.
And one thing we definitely have to talk about is Rula Hassanin. She is a Palestinian journalist. She is barely 31 years old and she's an activist. She has been doing a lot of works also for Al Jazeera, but also some other media outlets. And she's from the West Bank. She was arrested last March, like March 19, 2024. And she was accused of incitement on her social media posts because obviously she's an activist. She's going to stand for her people. She's going to speak up for her people. But that's something that you're not allowed because freedom of speech gets punished. That's for that. So she was arrested, but she was one of the Palestinian hostages that was released as part of the ceasefire agreement. And she has a little daughter that she had prematurely. So she was depending on her mother's breast milk, right? I mean, it's a tiny baby. She came out way too early. And yes, she does need extra care. But the mother couldn't be there. And now they're reunited, 10 months later? And
it was
right?
A beautiful video when she see his baby after all this time. That was March. Yes, 11 months.
Crazy.
Almost 11 months.
Imagine you was away from your child for just 11 days.
I cannot be away from her when she goes to school. I miss her so much. Can you imagine all these times? But this show how inhumane these people are. They don't care. They don't care who you are. They don't care who you leave behind. They take you for what? A post?
Exactly.
To defend, to fight for your own people. She's not doing nothing crazy. She's asking for freedom for his people. That's the, what they call it? The only democracy in the world. That's how they call it, right?
No, the only democracy in the Middle East.
In the Middle East, the only democracy in the Middle East.
Yes. And you know what? There are so many stories and so many heartbreaking stories of these Palestinian hostages. She also was speaking, she was vocal about the torture, the systemic torture that they endure, the beating, the strip searching, the deprivation of spirituality, basically prayer, the deprivation of, your minimal human rights, like water, like food, like anything, So there's so many stories and so many heartbreaking stories, and we will cover some. I'm sure we will cover some. This is one that Maria was very adamant about bringing up today. And we got our next story. No. Let's move to the DRC. Actually, we need to talk about the Congo. So we know the situation in the Congo. It's been very serious. There is millions and millions of people displaced. This is a situation that has been going on over 30 years. We talked about it here prior. And the rebels the M23 rebels that are funded by Rwanda or through Rwanda by some other entities to cause all this destruction and all this suffering over there. They have their own genocide, which looks a little bit obviously different than the one in Gaza. But nevertheless, it's still a lot of suffering, and it's actually horrible, extremely horrible for women because of the physical abuse the women endure. there, and Goma is a place 2 million of population, just like in Gaza. They also have food shortage, they have water shortage, they have contaminated water, just like in Gaza, and so much displacement in Goma and around Goma. And the rebels, they agreed to a ceasefire because of humanitarian reasons, but they're still taking over pretty much everything over there. And one known person, a former boxing champion called Valesi Jean de Dieu, or Dieu, however you say it, but AKA also known as Kibomango. He was unfortunately killed. He was struck by a bullet in the midst of clashes with the M23 what do you call it, rebels. And this is a thing that happened in Gaza as well. Over 500 sports people, like soccer players, athletes, were also killed during the past 16 years and prior. So this is currently what's going on in the DRC. And what's next, Maria? What we have next?
The doctor Aafia Siddiqui.
Yes. Oh, by the way, before I forget, we have to go back to the Kibo Mango guy. So Kibo Mango, he was 45 years old, and he was actually, because I was wondering, he was a boxing champion. Why would he stay in Goma? And he said he wanted to stay with his people. And this is what I'm saying when we talk about resilience, when we talk about this is, like fighting for what's yours and fighting for what's right. He wanted to stay there, and he founded a Club Lamitia. This is like a club for it's like a boxing academy for children from disadvantaged background, which there is obviously tons and tons and tons, unfortunately, in the Congo, especially considering what's going on over there. So he wanted to give the children something different from just being in the streets. And I think this is absolutely commendable. And it's such a shame that such a person was taken out at such young age. So yes.
That's why you love your people. That's true love for your people, true love for your land, right? Because it would be easier just pack you back and leave.
Of course.
I know.
Of course.
They stay because these places need their talent. Yeah. They need their engineers. They need the doctors. They need the athletes.
Yeah.
And the fact that they could just leave and find a better future in someplace else, they decide to stay. And not only they decide to stay, like even though after tortures, after being held in jail and just for no reason, they came out and they keep talking. So
absolutely. We I think he's like one of the people, we see these people who have this in them. It's just a particular special person. It takes something special to be able to do things like that.
Okay, so then our next story is something that I want to hear a lot about because it's crazy. When you told me, I was mind blown. Dr. Aafia Siddiqui. Aafia Siddiqui.
Yeah, Dr. Aafia Siddiqui. So Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, this is a case that's been raising has a lot of jaws dropping, to be honest, and raising a lot of questions so let's start from the beginning. Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, she was born in Karachi, Pakistan in 1972, and she moved to the US. She became a neuroscientist, and doctor in neurology. She studied in the US. She got married to Amjad Khan, who was her husband. They have 3 kids together. She was very, very focused on her studies, on whatever. She went back to Pakistan in the early 2000s. And this is when the whole story turned extremely south. So first, there was a divorce. They didn't get along. It just happens sometimes in life, as much as for me, I don't like divorce, but if it needs to be, it needs to be. It is what it is. So what he done then, being very spiteful, he just went and he accused her of having ties to Al-Qaeda. And especially during that time, it's insane, especially during that time. Mind you, 9/11 happened in 2001. So it was a very, very, very hot thing, So any type of accusation would be taken more than serious. There was no proof to this, though. There was absolutely no proof to this whatsoever. But what happened in 2002 when she was traveling in Pakistan with her 3 kids, she disappeared.
Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. It is my challenge, not only to every single person on the face of this planet Earth, but also, if there's any civilization on any other planet, it's my challenge to them as well, that Islam is the best savior and protector for women. And I am saying this with all this confidence, not out of arrogance, but because I believe that Islam was revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most just and merciful God, the God biased neither in favor of men or women, the creator and sustainer of both men and women. Islam elevates women to a level that has no parallel. Let's just take one example, our Western philosophers and saints. They say that woman is the seat of the devil, but the Quran calls her Muhsana, fortress against the devil. They say that she is the one responsible for our downfall from paradise. But the Prophet Muhammad said, paradise is under the feet of a woman, a mother. And that's not all. She has been given rights and protection in every sphere of life. She has all the basic human rights, including the right of inheritance, of owning property, of choosing her husband, of getting dowry, of divorce, of not only earning money, but even keeping every single cent she earns. And what not. You name it, and it's there. But let me make it clear that this earning money thing, in Islam, it is not the responsibility of a woman. Her responsibility, her duty, is with Allah and with her family. And if she takes care of that, alhamdulillah, she's in good shape, according to the Prophet Muhammad. That's enough for her salvation.
Yes, she totally disappeared. Nobody had no idea where she was, what happened to her, where she went, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, what happened with the kids?
The kids were there. They were just there, but they were very little. So, So what happened was that we have many testimonies from prisoners, and I'll get to that. So she was she disappeared. She was abducted. They say by the U.S. This is all alleged because the U.S. has not admitted to it or confessed or confirmed anything. They're saying that she was taken to an army base in Afghanistan where she was put in a warehouse and she was severely tortured. We have many testimonies that they say prisoner 650, which was her number, was indeed Dr. Aafia Siddiqui.
Wow.
Yes, the inmates later did state that. Mind you, this is the American base in Afghanistan at that time. It was absolutely crazy. But this is not where the story ends. This is far from it. In 2008, there was an official arrest of Aafia Siddiqui. They did arrest her in Afghanistan. There's a lot of, rumors going around. They had to stage that story because, obviously she was disappeared. She disappeared for 6 years. Her people were looking for her and whatnot. Mind you, the husband's accusation and saying, she was raising their children for jihad, all of the stuff. It's actually insane that he did this to her because he wanted to take revenge or whatever, considering he did not even care about his own kids losing their mother, learning this about their mother, knowing how she was severely tortured and she was arrested and whatever she went through. This is, to me, something that I will never understand. So in 2008, they allegedly staged this arrest. She was arrested and for carrying documents about chemical weapons and explosives. And apparently she also had a gun, a weapon. And then they also, this is why they convicted her finally in the US because they accused her. They said that she allegedly shot FBI agents and soldiers. Mind you, this is like a woman with a gun, and she done all of this, right? She shot all these agents and all these soldiers. But there was no proof to this. There was no fingerprints on that gun. There was no bullet. There was no residue from the gun, no gunpowder, so to speak, nothing. So this couldn't hold, but for some reason, she was still convicted, and she was sentenced to 86 years in prison in 2010. And she is still in that prison. And her sister, Dr. Aafia Siddiqui, she is trying so hard with a lot of human rights organizations to fight for her release. They asked for clemency of Biden. He denied it. And so she's been there for 15 years. And mind you, she's been arrested. Again, she's been abducted in the early 2000s. I think it was 2002 or 2003. And then she was officially arrested in 2008 for 86 years. And there is no proof for what they convicted her for.
This is so surreal. What is human rights? What is the human rights advocate? This violate every single article, or you as a human. Like you're supposed to be found, you're innocent until found guilty.
Absolutely. But this is what I'm saying. Like, and this is when it comes to, especially also this story, where are all these feminists? Where are all these Western feminists? Where are all these feminism organizations? Where are all these women that speak up for women's rights? Where are they? We haven't seen them the past 15 months. They haven't been around. Where are they? Where you? Like, I really wonder where you're at. Like,
if you are here, please comment under this video so we know where you are, because we haven't seen you. In very critical cases, we haven't seen you. So if you are missing, if someone adopt you,
they have nothing to say. Trust me, they have nothing to say at this point.
But this story, Ness, is beyond a horror movie. Like you disappear for the face of the air, and the whole government is responsible, and they have zero accountability. Like, how is this happening? Where are the laws? Where are the justice? That can happen to any of us.
Yeah. 100% this can happen. This is not something that is just, and this is why another thing, people think what all these crazy stories that we see on TV cannot happen. And yes, they probably happen, and they're not going to happen to everyone, not even to every second or third person. But there is a lot of things, especially these days, that can happen if we think about. One thing that Maria pointed out to me, like when it comes to immigration in America, they can arrest you because you have an accent, and they will even not understand that you might have an American citizenship, or you're not there illegal. They arrest you first and ask questions later. That's what she said to me, right? That's what you said.
That's why I carry my passport in my purse, because I'm not planning to travel in case that these people go crazy. At least they can find it hours later in my purse. You know what I mean? So.
Oh my gosh, this sounds absolutely insane. And Maria, I know you've been waiting, and you've been burning for this story that we're going to talk about at last. What is it?
Oh my God, my friend, this lady. Let me get the name right. Where are you?
It's
Omaja? Omaja?
Yeah.
What else? I know, you'd say. I'm not going to butcher.
Robinson, something
Robinson.
Like that?
Yeah. Omaja. My friend Omaja, she went to Pakistan looking for his online boyfriend. Omaja, 33 years old, went to Pakistan to look for his online love. He's 19 years old. But that's not it.
No.
After she can...
Wait. Before we even get there, can we just point out the fact that she actually catfished him? Okay.
Yeah.
She used the Nicki Minaj filter. She had the blonde hair. So she didn't look nothing like she set
She
out,
looks.
Yeah, exactly. Like the online person was a different person from the real person.
Like catfish and the next level.
Okay, so she went to
Right.
Pakistan, and what happened?
So she went to Pakistan. She knocked at the door of this young man's house, demanded to see him because I think they performed like an online wedding. Obviously, nothing legal. Just I guess
They did,
what kids
yeah.
do these days. And demanded to see her husband. And when when the mother of this young man saw her, she's like, "No way! Are you crazy?" and and she was so persistent. He stayed outside the house, and the whole family sneaked out of the house away from this woman.
For days,
So
weeks.
for they left everything. They were so like obviously something is wrong with my poor Omaya friend, but she camped outside the house for 3 days until the neighbor was like, "What's the deal with this woman?" And then the reporters came to see, and she started telling that she's now Pakistani and he's looking for her husband. People tried to help her, but she was there is no help for this woman. And she was demanding money because she said, "I'm gonna fix Pakistan. I don't like it here."
And he talked too much. That's it.
Yes, that's it. Yes, I'm saying. ये भी देखिए यही मेरी बात की तारीफ कर रही है.
Listen, you talk too much. It's not.
Come here, please come here.
Listen,
Please.
be quiet. I'm not sitting down. My plan is to reconstruct this whole country. Okay. I'm asking for 100K or more. I need 20K by this week. Okay, in my pockets, in cash. Okay, that's a demand to the government. The government is gonna fix up these buildings, fix up the streets, and clean up these streets. It's ridiculous out here. I do not like it. Okay, I would love for you guys to please understand that Pakistan is in need of new buses, new cabs, new cars. Please listen to what I'm saying. My name is Onaija Ahmed. Please understand. Thank you very much.
She found this guy who was like, he's like very respected in the community. So he took her to the psychiatry to get checked out. He took her. There was a thing where she went to McDonald's and she ordered so much food. And by the way, we're still boycotting McDonald's. Don't go. This is not an advert. Your food is unhealthy and we don't support you. Okay.
I mean, si Omaya is McDonald's, you should not be eating on McDonald's. Obviously, she's something there.
She doesn't care. She doesn't know. She just discovered Pakistan. Give her a chance to discover other places. Goodness. So this guy was really taking her everywhere. She had her makeup done. She held press conferences outside. She actually told people to get lost because she was tired. Like she became a star. There are so many memes of her in Pakistan. And this is such a crazy story. The son after came out and said that she is bipolar, that she has bipolar or is bipolar. I don't even know. No disrespect to anyone. Disclaimer. So she is obviously mentally, yeah.
She has challenges.
Exactly. She has mental challenges and mentally challenged. So she did leave after all. She did leave after 10 days. She said that she will be back. And the ticket, by the way, was issued by the US. Just saying.
Oh, but you forgot to mention that even she created these commotions in crazy statement. And she was not the nicest over there. She got people asking him to marry her.
She had the whole neighborhood queue up because they said, "Oh, if this guy don't want her, I don't want her." And it was like old people, young people, like all different ages, everybody, different type of people, like everybody wanted to marry her, but she was not interested. She wanted that 18 or 19-year-old boy that she catfished online, but he was a long time gone because this family, they got scared. The reason why I find this story actually somewhat interesting is this is such a nice marketing for Pakistan, because people always are pointing out very much how nice everyone was, how welcoming. She got like free accommodation, food. People were looking after her, making sure that she's okay. So this is like a free promotion for the country Pakistan.
Yeah, shout out to all people in Pakistan. That patient, you guys have the patient of saints, and very nice, very understanding of the situation. Even though she was not the nicest, they were beyond considerate and mindful of her situation. And so W Pakistan, amazing people.
She was demanding all kind of money, how you said. She wanted to fix Pakistan because she doesn't like it. She said how people live there, like the buildings and everything. And then she demanded $20,000. And then she demanded, $100,000 and then $20,000. And then it was $2,000 each week in her pocket. It was crazy. It was
She wanted to fix Pakistan, she said.
But people went with it. She actually got money. This girl kind of like made it, if you will it. So
we are approaching life in the wrong way, Ness. We need to
go to Pakistan, you mean?
Going crazy is the best way, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but this was a crazy story. Yeah,
it was, right? But it was something that you was very excited about the whole week.
When do you watch all the videos? It's insane. Yes. But glad that I think she's back. Hopefully she stays. She received the help that she needs.
Yes, but I don't know. They might invite her back because maybe if she wants to go back. She said she wants to go back. So let's see how long it's going to take her.
Yeah, after they treat her like a queen, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you want to go back? She received the celebrity treatment.
Oh my gosh, that's all we have for this week. That's it. And Maria, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to join in the conversation. Thank you for teaching me so much.
Oh my gosh, please don't say that.
No, you do. No, I'm a better person because you made me learn more about all these global issues.
Guys, I want to say I didn't pay her to say all of this, what she said today.
No. No, because that's why this podcast project is so important to me, because there are people like I was before October 7th. I thought that I knew what's going on, but obviously I was so far off. And we need spaces like this when we talk about all regions, because there's so much going on, not only in Palestine, but in Syria and Lebanon.
Yes.
I learned something new this week about the Kurds that we can develop later. But yes, this is important.
Oh my gosh. Yes, and this is all it's about. It's always about learning and sharing and educating. We didn't even do all the stories that we had. We didn't even speak on Wendy Williams. So this has to come next week then. Oh my gosh. All right. That's all we have.
Yeah. If we talk about everything else, we're going to stay here all day.
Exactly. So thank you guys for tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. And we definitely will be back next week. Peace out.